Coming in under 24 foot and a little over 4,300 pounds dry, the Campsite Reserve 17LS may just be one of the best layouts out there for a family. Now, granted, you probably won't be able to tow it by a mid-size SUV, right, at that 4,300 pound mark. But the great thing about it is the fact it does have 1,200 pounds of carrying capacity, so you can load this thing up and still be able to tow it with a large SUV or a small pickup. The thing I love about this layout, though, is this right here. The fact it has this big slide out that gives you all of this room while you're inside. And again, in that floor plan, the shorter box, it's pretty impressive. The other thing I love about the Dinette, and you'll find this pretty much in all the Campsite Reserves, is the huge space underneath. Take a look at this massive storage. So you get this on both sides. Now, it's not going to be on any ball bearing glides or anything like that. But the thing I do like about it is just the sheer size, right? It's massive. It's easy to get in and out of, or get stuff in and out of there. And again, the fact you have so much storage under the Dinette, they could utilize all this space is something we oftentimes don't see. The table here does drop down into additional sleeping position as well. Now, granted, as a 6-foot adult, I'm not going to be very comfortable there. But if you got a kiddo or I want to put a dog bed up there or something like that, by all means, you can do that. You'll see USB charging ports here, as well as a nice big window. This window is much larger than what you normally get, kind of in the slide out, right? So you get great views, lets in a ton of light that does slide open for some cross ventilation as well. And I think they did a pretty good job by adding some additional storage right up here to the side. You'll also see that this one does come with a whole house filter. So you do have the filtration system that's built into the Campsite Reserve as well. As far as height, do want to speak to that? You can see I'm 6 foot. I do have a couple inches here above my head, and the AC unit is pretty flush, so you don't really have to worry about banging your head, which is pretty nice. So again, you can see the AC unit here. It does have the direct, so it just drops down. But again, being a smaller unit, that will do such a good job of cooling things down. In fact, so many people want ducted AC, not realizing that you're actually going to lose efficiency by going to the ductwork. Something this size, having a direct vent is definitely the way to go. Also built into the slide, you see some additional storage right over to the side. I do like that they added this kind of like little pantry space over here, just because, as we take a look at the kitchen, I think it does need some additional storage, and this kind of helps with that. So speaking of kitchen, let's hit that. It's going to be right across the way. First of all, you have your Everchill fridge freezer combo. We'll open that guy up. You can see you have plenty of space in here. Do love that. The other thing that's really nice about this one is that the fact the doors do open either way. So I don't know, if you're sitting in bed and you want like a quick water or something, you can open up the fridge and grab it. There's not many floor plans you can do that with. I'm a guy who loves cold water at night, so that is kind of something that I would enjoy, even though it may not be for everyone. Kind of coming over a little bit, we get into the countertop. You have a pressed counter in here. Some pretty good counter space right in the center. Like, I am fairly impressed that they were able to fit this in here. Again, they did that by kind of sacrificing. You get a 2-burner instead of 3-burner cooktop, but I would much rather have the prep space. I think they made the right choice. Now, the 2-burner is recessed with a glass cover, so again, you can utilize this as prep space rather than being like top mounted, so I like that. Then over to the side, you also get the undermount stainless steel sink with the drying rack on here, high-rise pull-out faucet, which again, at this price point is great. And you even get a glass rinser, which I'm a huge fan of. Something I use a lot, especially because I like to entertain and make some cocktails, things like that. And this really makes that cleanup process a whole heck of a lot easier. Coming up from that, this is kind of, one of the hallmarks here of the Campsite Reserve. You have the nice big campside window. Again, opens for cross ventilation with that one in the slide out. You can see how much light it lets in. Plus, you get the light box up top here with lights in there, just really brightening everything up, even if at nighttime. Love that. Just makes the coach feel so nice and open. As we drop down here, you'll see the main kitchen storage is going to be right here for pots, pans, things like that. Really would have loved to have seen a drawer or two, but understand, that you can't fit everything in this layout. And again, I say that's why that pantry is key for a little bit of that additional storage. You just have to get a little creative on your flatware and things like that. You also see the microwave right down underneath. Beneath that is your direct vent furnace. So that way you can keep things nice and toasty, kind of into the spring, into the fall, things like that. And again, direct vent will do a great job in this space. You also have your fuse box right down here, right next to the battery disconnect. So that way, if you want to kill all power to the coach, you can just flip that real nice and easy. And of course, we have a propane monitor right down there as well. And your carbon monoxide. Okay, then up front is going to be the main bed. So, you know, again, I think you have good space here. I like what they've done. Granted, whoever's on the inside will have to crawl over to be able to use the bathroom, but I think it still works in this layout. I think it is worth it and being able to keep it nice and short. You can also see that you have the headboard there with some reading lights, window on both the head and foot of the bed. Plus up top, you also have the single inverter. So that's great because if you have like a CPAP machine like myself, you can plug it into that. And even if you're just running off battery power, you can still be able to operate that. So I love that that is just built in. It's not, you know, it's not just prep. That outlet is actually inverted. It is a little loud when you turn it on, just as an FYI, but it's kind of like built-in white noise. You can also see that you have storage up top, so additional clothing storage. Really like the doors they use in the campsite as well, something, you know, a little more unique, something you don't see very often. Then here at the foot of the bed is a swing arm mount for a TV. And again, I love this too, just because, you know, as you're laying in bed, you have a direct shot to the TV. If you want to swing that around, be able to watch it to Dinette, you can certainly do that too. Or again, you know, if you want to swing it around, if you're outside and the kids want to watch something, they can be right here in bed and still be able to watch it. You will see you kind of have, you know, I wouldn't call them quite full doubles, but they're definitely a little bit wider than your single bunk for sure. And I say that they're not full doubles just because of the cut right here, right? It does kind of cut quite a bit of this off. So your main length is going to be kind of right here. Let me see something real quick. Hold on. I'm just going to see how big these bunks are, just so I can let you know. See what our tag says. All right. So we are 44 by 70. So not quite 6 foot at the longest point there. So again, you know, as an adult, may not be the best option, but as a kiddo, or, you know, again, if you're a little bit shorter than 6 foot, excellent option there. And then again, the bunk down below. Now you do have window, both top and bottom. You can see the bottom one opens, top one being an emergency exit. You also have storage underneath. And once again, talk about huge storage solutions. Take a look at this. You get this massive drawer right here. I think this is super cool. It's not very often you get this, you know, what I would call easy access storage underneath. And the fact that they put that in there just, again, makes it super easy to get to. You have the ladder to be able to climb up into the bunk. You can also see that you have the USB ports there. You can also monitor your voltage. And then right up top is going to be for your Bluetooth receiver. So if you want to listen to some music, you can connect to that via Bluetooth. The rest of your controls are basically going to be right here from your tank monitoring panel. One of the things I do want to talk about, you know, we talked about, again, that like late fall, kind of early spring camping. It does have heated tanks on here to assist with that, which is pretty great. Then you can also see the control for the slide out as well as the power awning. Now coming into the bathroom, just to kind of show you space, I'll take a seat on the toilet again. I'm 6 foot tall, about 215, and you see I have plenty of room for both my shoulders, my knees, as well as my shoulders. I also like that there isn't anything right here. A lot of times in smaller floor plans like this, you know, they'll have like some plumbing and stuff running through here, and it kind of impedes the feet, but that's not the case. You also see over in the corner, you get pretty good size vanity. Underneath, again, you have some storage space for toilet paper, black tank chemical, things like that. You also have a tankless water heater in this one. So you have on-demand hot water and an actual mirrored medicine cabinet rather than just a mirror on the wall. So again, a lot of things that I think are pretty good improvements over what we normally see. Now, as far as standing up in the shower at 6 foot tall, if I stand under the vent, I can do it. I'm pretty much maxing it out, but I am here. If I try to move over, it's not going to happen. So I would have to kind of stay in this space at 6 foot. Otherwise, I'd have to duck down a little bit. Again, not necessarily a deal breaker, just something to be cognizant of as you are looking at different RVs. Now, one of my favorite parts, though, about the 17LS is this right here. With this big old slide all the way in, you still have full access to all the important things. For example, need to get a sandwich? You can stop and grab one out of the fridge. Need to take a nap? You have full access to the main bed as well as both the bunks in the back. Plus, if you have to use the bathroom, you get easy access to the bathroom too. All right, let's take a look at some of the outside features on the 2025 Campsite Reserve 17LS. Starting right up front, you'll see this unit does come with a powered tongue jack, which is great. Makes it a whole heck of a lot easier to connect and disconnect from your tow vehicle. Also, of course, makes it easier to level the RV front to back. You'll see your 20-pound propane tank right behind that. And something else I like, even though it's small, is right here on the side. This just gives you a place to put the 7-way as well as the safety chains when not in use. And I like that. Otherwise, you just kind of have to, put it around your tongue jack, kind of like they have with the power cord here, but you have to do the same thing with the chains. And again, it's just something small like that that helps keep things a little bit cleaner. Right behind that, you will see rails for your battery, as well as diamond plating here, helping to protect that front end from rocks and debris that may get thrown up by your tow vehicle. And you have this smooth aluminum front end, which looks great, cleans a whole heck of a lot easier too. When we come around to the side, I also want to talk about the aluminum here, because I do have upgraded aluminum, right? There's a few different types of aluminum in the industry, and this right here is going to be the more expensive one. You'll see that instead of like a single panel, you have like 3 here, but it's going to be thicker. And so that way it's not going to dent as easy, looks a whole heck of a lot nicer. And again, it's actually easier to clean than the other aluminum as well, in my opinion, at least from when I've been out here washing them. So again, I do like what they have done. You also see on this side, you have a nice big storage door. It is a magnetic catch. Taking a look inside, you'll see they put some spaces to hang things, which is always kind of nice. Again, good utilization of space underneath that Camp Queen bed. And again, you will see that is going to be full pass-through. You also notice right up front here is the solar charge controller, because this one does have a 100-watt solar panel up on the roof, which will help trickle charge that battery. For stabilizer jacks, you'll have 2 in the front as well as 2 in the back here. Then make it right back a little bit further. You can take a look at the tires. Nice aggressive lug on there, kind of like an off-road tire. I like that, especially because this one has a little bit higher clearance. So if you're going somewhere, doing a little bit of off-roading, this will help so you're not going to hopefully hit anything. And speaking of hitting anything, you'll also see that they have the propane quick connect pretty well protected as you're going forward, because that front stabilizer jack is there. So hopefully if you do hit something, it's not going to hit that line. But I love that that they have that on here in case you want to do some cooking outside. Speaking of being outside and being entertained, well, if you want TV out here, you can do that too. You can take that same swing arm mount that is in the bedroom with the TV right on it, just disconnect everything, plop it in right out here, hook it back up. Now you have a TV outside and you don't have to carry an extra one with you. If you want, of course, you can have 2, so you don't have to move it, but it does give you some options. Again, you have some speakers out here. Those are connected to that multimedia center inside that unit I said that was Bluetooth capable. You have a couple different speaker zones, obviously one out here and then one inside. The main entry door is going to be a tempered glass door. I really do like these. I'm starting to see more manufacturers use them. The reason I like them is because, well, it just looks really sharp from the outside. And if you notice, it does have a window that is built into the door. And during the day, you can't even really tell. This is going to be prepped for a shade. So if you want shade for like privacy at night, you can have that installed easily enough. I would recommend it, but again, it's completely up to you. You'll also see the More Ride step above steps right here. Thing I like about this is that they're aluminum treads. They're not going to rust out on you. This front one, or this top one rather, is nice and big, and they're super easy to adjust. Back when these first came out, the legs were a big pain. You had to pull pins, put pins back in. Not the case anymore. They just have simple levers. Super, super, super simple. All this is going to be underneath the power awning, by the way, with an LED light strip on there. So that way, nice and easy to open that up as well as take it back in. Of course, lights at night. You also have these square windows on this coach, which I absolutely love the design of. These are, again, tinted as well. And then if we take a look right out here, even more storage, because you can never have enough storage in an RV. I like that, again, they fully utilize that space under the bed. You had the big drawer on the one side. You get the exterior storage here on the other. Right there is going to be your tankless water heater. Then coming around to the back, you'll see the square tubular bumper with end caps. Depending on your sewer hose, you may be able to slide that in there. And a full-size spare is mounted. I love that they give you the full size, especially, with those, the big lugs. You're not going to want, like, a standard tire on there. You want to make sure you match that up, and that gives the ability to do that. Right up top in the center is a backup camera. That is not just prep, folks. That is a full backup camera. So if that way as you're backing up, it just gives you that added visibility. You also see a 30-amp detachable power cord plugs right into here. We have our termination with black and gray tank valves there. And then up a little ways is going to be an outside shower with hot and cold, as well as a black tank flush. That one's mounted kind of high, but I love the fact they have it. That way you can just hook your hose up right there to be able to wash out your black tank rather than having to stick a hose all the way down into the toilet. And then right up front here, still on the utility side, are going to be the water connections, both your fresh tank fill as well as the city water inlet. Again, with a GVWR 5,600 pounds and, under 24 foot, this is a fantastic family camper. If you're interested and you want to know how much it is and where you can find one, there will be a link in the description. Simply click that. Thanks again for watching. I'm Ian Baker. Until next time, we'll see you.